The green light of justice. I should have trusted my instincts the moment I stepped into the building. The air felt wrong that morning. Heavy, electric, carrying that quiet warning only 15 years in compliance work can teach you to recognize. I didn't know what shape trouble would take. I just didn't expect it to look like a rich kid with a latte and an overconfident smile. My name is Victor Solown. 15 flawless years in compliance. No gaps, no misses, not even a forgotten signature. I was the guy everyone trusted to keep the walls standing. Until that morning. The elevator doors slid open, and in strolled Mark Bartlett, the 24-year-old son of our CEO. Clean sneakers, designer shirt, expensive haircut, and the relaxed posture of someone who's never had to earn the ground he stands on. He held a stack of keycards like they were props in a game he'd somehow already won. "Vic, I'm doing a little access cleanup before the audit," he chirped cheerfully. Before I could say a word, he snatched my badge, tapped it to his phone, and a tiny red light blinked. There we go, streamlined. Streamlined. He called disabling the compliance officer's access during an active audit. Streamlined. I headed to the server room, praying it was a glitch. Badge, red. Archive room, red. Compliance vault, where the auditors were literally waiting for me. A harsh, mocking red that felt personal. Minutes stretched like hours. The auditors were polite at first. They asked for the logs, the certifications, the archival files, everything only I had access to. Except I didn't anymore. In the world of corporate policy, it didn't matter how many years you'd served or how loyal you were. No access meant you officially didn't exist. Within minutes, they packed their laptops, shook my hand with a kind of quiet sympathy, and walked out. 15 perfect years of audits collapsed like a tower built too close to the tide. I was summoned upstairs to the CEO's office, a quiet cathedral of glass and cold air conditioning. I stood there, preparing for the worst. Blame, humiliation, maybe termination. Leon Bartlett, the CEO, stared at me for a long, heavy moment. "Victor, tell me what happened." Before I could open my mouth, the door swung open, and Mark burst in. "Dad, okay, funny story, but his father wasn't amused. His eyes were locked on the failed audit report, specifically the timestamp of the access revocations." And then I placed the printed logs in front of him. Every authorization change labeled clearly, modified by M. Bartlett. Mark's smile cracked. His confidence evaporated. Leon didn't raise his voice. "Mark, leave us." The door clicked shut behind him, and then something I never expected happened. Leon slid a document toward me. A promotion. Director of Compliance. A raise big enough to make my head spin. And, sweetest of all, full authority over every access level in the company. The next morning, my new keycard opened every door with a soft, satisfying green glow. Mark, let's just say, red suited him better. I thought that was the end. It wasn't. 3 days into my new role, a young tech specialist named Lena approached me. Quiet, nervous, holding a flash drive like it weighed 100 pounds. "Victor, I think you need to see this." On the drive were months of access change records, dozens of unauthorized edits, buried modifications, access fluctuations in high-risk investment sectors. Mark hadn't made one careless mistake. He had been playing with the system for weeks. He had compromised security long before the audit ever began. I tried to tell him, Lena whispered. He laughed at me. I felt something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about the truth. I took the flash drive straight to Leon. He watched the records in silence, longer and longer, his expression collapsing into something between grief and resignation. He could have destroyed the company, he finally breathed. "He still can," I said gently, "if no one stops him." He leaned back, suddenly looking 10 years older. "Thank you, Victor. You didn't just save the company. You've saved my son from the disaster he was marching toward. I'll handle this." And he did. Mark disappeared from the office the next week. Officially, external training. Unofficially, stripped of his title, access, privileges, and the illusion that power was something he inherited, rather than something earned. A week later, Leon told me something I'll never forget. Real power isn't in opening every door. Real power is knowing which doors to close. The next morning, I walked past the restricted hallway I once couldn't enter. My new badge touched the scanner, and that soft green light washed over me again. Only this time, it didn't feel triumphant. It felt peaceful, steady, right. Sometimes revenge comes loud. Sometimes it burns. Sometimes it destroys. But this time, justice came quietly, in the soft glow of a green light and the weightless certainty that I had finally done the right thing.